Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kenny Scott. I am the founder and CEO of Paramify. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how we approach modern security package management, how that helped us get our FedRAMP 20X moderate authorization, how it can help for FedRAMP Rev 5, CMMC, DoD SRG, whatever it is that you're doing. It could be bank compliance, GLBA. It could be ISO 27001 or AI UC. It doesn't really matter. This is an approach that's really going to be an unlock for you if you catch the spirit of it. When we think about risk management at Paramify, we think of everything in terms of stacks. At Paramify, we have 3 stacks. We have an organization stack, or our corporate stack. That's everybody in the company. Everybody who gets a laptop, everybody who goes through a background check. It's all common, right? And the whole purpose of that organization is to serve up the Paramify Cloud, which is also supported by one other stack, which we call the dev stack. And so what is a stack? A stack is a group of people, processes, and technology that take in data to achieve some sort of purpose. And so for us, at the very beginning, when it was just me, my idea was I want to take in deterministic telemetry from the organization to help automate complete and accurate documentation. And that was the very first thing that we did. And that has evolved to a continuous monitoring platform thanks to help from our clients and partners and people within the federal government. You guys have really helped us unlock something, but it all goes back to this concept of risk management. So let's take Paramify Cloud, for example. Like I said, we all have risks that we face, and we organize them into these 6 different families by default, right? They're all kind of scary, and we just make them right triangles, and they look perfect. Real risk is nebulous, but come on. We're just trying to demonstrate here what it's broken up as, right? So an organization has different risks. There's risks around communication tools. There's risks around human resources, device management, governance, threat awareness. There are all of these risks, and we have what we call risk solutions that we use to solve those, right? There's general IT risk. We call it like tech ops risk in our organization. And yeah, so there's risks around data security and application delivery, observability, network. These risks exist whether you're an AI first system or whether you're an old school traditional SaaS or infrastructure as a service. They exist. And we have different risk solutions that we implement, and we implement them differently. There's different solutions that Paramify offers to our clients. There's different end user responsibilities that come into the fore as you evolve your product. And there's different information security risk, and there's specifically facilities risk, right? So these are things that we often don't think about today in 2026 because most of the time we outsource all of this risk to cloud service providers. For example, physical access provisioning. If you look at a traditional Rev 5 FedRAMP document, there's a lot of different capabilities that the auditor is going to expect to see, for these different controls. So this particular risk solution is mapped to these capabilities. Physical access provisioning, is something that's mapped to these different control requirements at the granular level so that we can automate the documentation, the SSP, for example, and anything else that would require that different capability. FedRAMP doesn't care. FedRAMP 20X, they don't care about measuring this because they assume that you're using a hyperscaler, you're using AWS or GCP or Azure, whatever it is. And so for us, we're always trying to say well, how are you addressing that risk? And so for us, it's AWS GovCloud. And so in Paramify, what that does is it automates the documentation for those capabilities and these different controls, just like that. Of course, 20X, they don't care about it, so we don't document anything there so far. Okay, and that's really easy when we can transfer a risk to an entire organization altogether. It takes care of the whole entire family of facilities. However, it gets a little more complicated when we go to these different risk areas because there's many shared responsibilities. For example, at Paramify, we're going to say like, well, we use Okta, and we go, oh, like, how come not everything's green? We've said it, but now it looks like I've got a lot of work to do. And the answer is yes, you do. And our product team is going to be like, well, I don't want to focus on authentication and single sign-on. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, well, cool. We have this concept. It's called IT. Let me move this out of the way so that I can see this. Okay, so we've got IT, and what we're going to do here is we're going to use the solution that IT has set up for us because they've configured Okta so that every organization can come in here and leverage this. So what we do is we connect to IT's single sign-on risk solution, which is Okta, okay? And then we're going to use that. So we can see this little flash that says, hey, it's the IT stack that is doing this. And it's like, great, dude. Well, it looks like there's a lot more stuff that's done for me, but there are things that I need to do. So Paramify helps you organize that relationship of how risk is managed, how capabilities are implemented. The Okta ISSO gives us a certain capability that's taken care of for us. And now we're leveraging the IT Okta configuration. So configuring, MFA correctly to make sure that it's using your FIPS YubiKey. You don't have to set that up multiple times, but someone needs to set that up. And then once that's set up, the different teams, so in large enterprises, think about hundreds of teams that are leveraging a single Okta implementation. That's very, very common in enterprise. And so you need a really easy way to handle that. And so Paramify helps you do that and think about that. Now, as you go, you also want to monitor not only the documentation, who cares about that? What you want to do is monitor what's actually happening. And so those different capabilities, we're going to monitor those. And so one day, right actually, after we got an authorization, we got all this set up, we were really worried because on our continuous monitoring dashboards, all of a sudden we had all these controls go red. And what happened, we're just like looking at it, like what's going on? Literally all of our controls are red, all of them are failed. And we have a trust center, we're like, oh man, we better make sure we check up what's going on. And really what happened is we found that the artifacts that were validating the evidence all the time, that they weren't giving us great data. And so once we fix that, everything goes to green again, and biscuits all around. We're all super happy. And this is the way that agencies really want to be looking at risk management. They don't want to look at stacks of documentation. They don't have the resources to do that. They want to be able to make risk decisions really fast. And so this is the way that we should all be thinking about it. How to have a transparent view of what risks affect the organization, what are the solutions that are being implemented and their current capabilities to address the risks, and how are they doing? Are they going, is there something wrong? Is there something that we need to know about? This is an approach that I think is really going to help you as you set up your modern security package management efforts. It will help you address those GRC engineering principles, that are so awesome. So we would love to talk to you. I have a great team. They know this stuff really well. Love to talk to you in more detail about it. Click on the link below and you can set up a time to chat with us. Thanks.